Hello everybody, I am Filippo Menozzi and I'm a lecturer in the Department of English at Liverpool John Moores University. Today in this short sample lecture I'm going to discuss a very important novel, The God of Small Things by Indian writer Arundhati Roy. Now, I'm not going to introduce the plot or the characters of the novels in this short sample lecture. However, I hope I'm going to offer some useful materials for exploring some key themes at the heart of this text. I just wanted to introduce briefly the text, which was published in 1997 as the first novel by then young and emergent Indian writer Arundhati Roy, by taking a look at the description of the novel that you can find on the web page of its current publisher, Penguin Random House, which is one of the most important publisher of fiction worldwide. Now, I'm just going to read the kind of marketing, the promotion material that has been attached to this text, so many years after the publication of the novel. Now, the novel is described, as you can see from my first slide here, as a beautiful reissue of the Booker Prize-winning New York Times best-selling novel about an Indian family in tragic decline. Likened to the works of Faulkner and Dickens, this extraordinarily accomplished debut novel is a brilliantly plotted story of forbidden love and piercing political drama, centered on an affluent Indian family that is forever changed by a visit from their English relatives. Set mainly in Kerala, India in 1969, it is the story of Rahel and her twin brother Eshta, who learn that their whole world can change in a single day, that love and life can be lost in a moment. Armed only with the invincible innocence of children, they seek to craft a childhood for themselves amid the wreckage that constitutes their family. Sweet and heartbreaking, ribald and profound, The God of Small Things is written in a voice so powerful and original that it burns itself into the reader's memory. Now, as you can see from this very vivid and kind of emotional description of the novel, some of the key themes that emerge immediately, from this kind of description are the question of drama, the tragic decline of a family, love, and childhood. All these topics, which are indeed central to this text. However, this is a very complex text, and many themes, many ways of marketing this text might emphasize different aspects. In particular, you have to consider that Arundhati Roy, the writer of this novel, after publishing this text in 1997 and, being extremely successful, selling millions of copies, winning a very important literary prize, the Booker Prize, decided to abandon fiction for 20 years and to devote herself to politics and journalism. As it was only in 2017, so you see many years after the publication of God of Small Things, that Arundhati Roy went back to fiction with her second really beautiful novel called The Ministry of Utmost Happiness, which was published a few years ago. So you might wonder whether such a successful writer who is able to discuss these themes of love, childhood, drama, tragic decline of families so eloquently, so vividly, then decided to abandon fiction and to devote herself to politics and journalism instead for so many years. Now, this is a key question about Arundhati Roy as a writer, and also, in my view, this question captures very important issues that surround the emergence of the novel as a literary phenomenon. Now, when you are a writer, it's not common to have such a global and instant success with your first attempt at writing fiction, as it happened to Arundhati Roy. She was in many ways discovered, so to speak, by an Indian journalist called Pankaj Mishra, and of course she was kind of packaged as a writer who, from out of nowhere, so to speak, had this sensational talent, sensational ability to write, such engaging and powerful fiction. Now, in order to understand a bit better then what this novel is about and the kind of questions that it might raise for us who are reading God of Small Things so many years after, its original publication, I would like to ask today two important questions. The first one is, how should this novel be read outside India? As I mentioned before, this is an Indian novel set in South Indian Kerala in the 60s. Of course, it refers to a context that in the UK, to many of us, might be unfamiliar. So how do we make this unfamiliar context familiar to us through the reading of this novel? How should we read this novel as readers who are not in India, not familiar and not close to the context? And the second problem I wanted to briefly mention today is whether this novel is, after all, political or not, because Arundhati Roy herself, as I mentioned earlier, devoted herself to politics and journalism after writing this novel. So the question is whether this is a literary work about love, childhood, family drama, and so on, or the open question is, are there any other wider social issues that are at the heart of this really fascinating text? Now, in order to answer very briefly the first question today, how should this novel be read outside India, I wanted to mention a very important criticism of the novel that was proposed by a critic based in Leeds called Graham Hagan in a really important and influential book called The Postcolonial Exotic. Now, the word exotic means something which is foreign, but in a very intriguing and fascinating way. Graham Hagan explained the success of the novel, of The God of Small Things, as part of a new way of marketizing and, in a way, selling an image of India to the rest of the world that was going on in the late 90s. As he wrote in this book, The Postcolonial Exotic, India is very much a central player in the global alterity industry, catering mainly, though not exclusively, to the capitalist West. The alterity industry is closely linked to the massification of exotic merchandise, to the range of often tawdry foreign goods which, filtering through global channels, eventually land in a shop or shopping mall or street market near you. Now, a first criticism that was directed against this novel is the fact of being part of this movement of kind of commodification of, turning India itself a nation with, all the cultures and languages that compose, the fabric of this really, massive democracy, the largest democracy in the world. Of course, Arundhati Roy's novel was part, according to critics like Hagan, of this massification of India. The idea that basically we read a novel like The God of Small Things primarily because of its exotic, fascinatingly distant and foreign Oriental setting. It's an open question, of course. What do you think? How should we read this novel? I mean, is this novel, for example, written primarily for us, for Western readers, being catered, as Hagan writes, to the capitalist West? So is this novel reducible to being this kind of way of representing India in such a kind of, in such a kind of exotic way, we might say, for lack of better words? In other words, is this an authentic portrayal of Indian culture and politics, or is it only a way of, creating an instant success, a globally circulating book that is playing on this kind of alterity industry? Alterity means otherness, this idea that, we buy foreign goods, and the novel itself is one of these goods. We buy literature as we buy other stuff. So what do you think? Is The God of Small Things reducible to this politics of representing India for a foreign audience, for a Western audience? And of course, this is an open question. I don't want to answer it today for you, but there is more probably in the novel than this kind of marketization or commodification of India. Yet critics have pointed out how the success, the reception of the novel was part of this wider design. The second problem I wanted to ask today is whether this novel is after all political or not. Is it about love and childhood and drama as it's been, represented and packaged today? Or is there anything more about this novel? For example, the question of, social justice, of, racism. Are these questions important in the text? How does Arundhati Roy represent, for example, the question of caste in the novel, which is, a very prominent feature? Another critic, an Indian critic, this time called Ajaz Ahmad, criticized again this novel. As you can see, this was a very controversial novel from the start, in a very important essay called Reading Arundhati Roy Politically, where he wrote, and I quote from Ahmad's essay here, that there is this theme in the novel of what he called the privatization of both pleasure and politics, which leads then to sheer aggrandizement of the erotic relation in human life as utopic moment of private transgression and pleasure so intense that it transcends all social conflicts of class, caste and race. So the other open question about this novel is whether these erotic and romantic transgressions that are at the heart of this text in the end up, as Ahmad writes, privatizing politics, turning, from the public to the private, showing that the act of, sexual transgression, of being in love with someone from a different caste, for example, is in itself a politically charged and politically valuable act or not. According to Ahmad, this is a weakness of the text because, in his view, instead of representing questions of caste and racial oppression in a realist way, Arundhati Roy is kind of eschewing realism in order to focus on the erotic as this site of rebellion, of transgression. And we could question again, another open question, whether after all the novel is really kind of reducing politics to this familial, romantic, erotic level, or again, is the question of caste adequately represented? Do we have a sense of caste and racial oppression through the novel? Again, I'm not going to answer this question today. I just wanted to mention all these debates so that you might have material for discussing the novel in class, hopefully. So just to summarize, the two questions I wanted to raise today are, first of all, how should we read the novel as Western readers outside India? Is this a novel written for us? Is this novel part of this way of marketizing India for a kind of in a kind of tourism, literary tourism kind of way? Or is it a novel that authentically depicts Indian realities in your view? And secondly, is this novel political? Is this novel able to tackle questions such as racial and caste oppression, or, as Ahmad suggests, reducing the question of politics to family and love? Thank you so much for listening. I hope these questions might be helpful and interesting to you. Thank you.